Hey guys, welcome back to the Kampai Sugai podcast. I'm Gavin, and today we have a very special guest, someone who is running for Honolulu City Counsel of District 4, Mr. Kaleo Nakoa.
Hey, right on. Thank you guys for having us.
Of course, dude. Yeah, you and your kids here. That's awesome, man.
It's my campaign team right there.
Yeah, yeah, they're wearing your shirts right now.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah, you guys want to come in? Just to
Say hi. Introduce yourself.
yeah.
Ava, go first.
What camera do you look at?
Or you can look at the center one over here.
Hi, my name is Ava Nakoa, and I'm a campaign manager.
Kampai. Look at that camera.
Hi, I'm a campaign manager.
Duke, you want to do it?
Oh,
And then we got Duke. He's a campaign security.
campaign security. There we go. That's awesome. So, first off, yeah, tell me about yourself. I mean, where'd you grow up, and what were you doing before you started running for government?
So I was born and raised Maui. Graduated from Lahaina Luna High School in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Then I joined the Coast Guard in August of 2000. And then been all over America, all over the world, traveling, deployments. And I retired in August 2020. I was also a firefighter for 4 years in Oregon.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
That was a blast.
Yeah,
That was a good time. But for me, when I retired, I started working for the OTS, Oahu Transit System, the bus company. And then I quit that. And then I started working for Frank Coluccio doing electrical with him. And then with COVID and trying to get the kids, when they get runny nose, they all have to stay home for 10 days. So that was stressful on myself and my wife to figure out who's going to stay home for those 20 plus days. So we just made the decision to stay home. Luckily we have that option because we have the retirement income. So I could stay home with the kids and take care of the kids, and the wife could go to work without having to take time off. So it's been a blessing. Been a blessing.
How was it quarantining during those 20 days? Because you guys are all kind of just packed in one room, you know what I mean, or packed in your house.
So with us, we live in a townhome, so that makes it even more stressful and more tight. But we have a small little backyard where we would do projects together. We actually built our own little pool out of 2x4s and
Oh, nice.
and tarp, and then when stuff started opening up, we actually used that wood that we used for the pool and made our own little raised garden.
Oh, wow.
So it was cool, and we got kalo in there, we got Hawaiian chili pepper, all kinds of flowers, cabbage, tomatoes, papayas, all kinds of. We're just trying to be a little bit less dependent on the system.
Yeah, self-sustainable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're trying. We're learning. It's a learning process, and we're learning the different moon phases on when is the right time to plant, when is the right time to go fishing, when is the right time to rest. So we're learning a lot through this process.
Did you learn a bunch of farming techniques before COVID, or was it something that you kind of learned during the time?
So it was mostly during COVID. There's a couple malas that we work with, Daniel Anthony and Uncle Kawi, and they actually started these malas in Waimanalo, and it was to feed the community. It was to feed the people. So when we pull the huli, we give it out to the people. And so come back 2 years later, we haven't been a part of that mala, but we did an event for the Queen's Court, and it was just amazing, how it came back full circle, and we get to work at that mala again. So it's cool. It's pretty cool. They give back a lot to the people. So
Definitely.
but yeah, during the COVID time is when we started to really dig into the moon phases and try and learn when is the right time to fish or plant.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, what made you guys start running for city council, District 4?
Well, I've been on the neighborhood board in Hawaii Kai for a year, and it's hard to talk about stuff and not get stuff done. So actually, what happened was, I called Councilman Waters' office twice because everyone would come up to us on the neighborhood board and ask us because he pulled papers for Congress and city council again. So everyone was concerned because there's a big project in Kalama Valley that we need the city council to be a part of so that we can not shut it down, but so we can keep it within the variances of the neighborhood. So when they would ask us what his plans were, I called his office twice, and I think his secretary called me back after the second time, and I asked her, what his plans were. Is he going to run for Congress, or is he going to stay running for city council? And she couldn't give me an answer. She said I had to, ask him. Only he knows. So, it was kind of frustrating. And I said, well, that's why I'm calling, is to get an answer. We need to know. So we need to know if we, need to change our tactics on trying to go against this overdevelopment in Kalama Valley. So after, I think a week went by after the phone calls, and I just woke up one day and something said I had to run. And then so I actually texted my wife and said, hey, are you okay if I run for office? And she was like, oh my. She's like, yes, but she's fighting her own battles with the military. So we agreed that, we'll support each other. But she's got her battles against the vaccine mandate with the Coast Guard. And, I'm going to do this battle. So we bounce the ideas off each other. We, vent to each other, and, we support when we can. But so that was the reasoning.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So Tommy Waters he's running for re-election, right?
Yep.
And I think you're the only other candidate actually running against him.
Yeah, so there was 7 people who pulled papers, and these people pulled papers in like February, March. So they had their minds made up that they wanted to run. But so I filed my papers, and then the next day, Tommy Waters came out and said he's gonna run for city council again. So he filed his papers, and it was nerve-wracking, coming to the last day of the time everyone could put their stuff in. I was waiting, looking at the Office of Elections, seeing who else, filed, because I know if one other person filed, then it would have been a whole different, mentality that would have to go into. So at least now it's only Tommy and myself, so we have until November. So now is the time for us to, we try and hooey up with the other candidates that, are close to our district or whatever. Yeah, there's a bunch of us candidates, House representatives, state representatives that want to, we're all hooing up together, supporting each other. That way, when there's issues coming up, we can work together to come up with a solution. So.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's a lot of, there's a lot of good people in city council already. There's Andrea Topola. There's Heidi, she's already there, but of course she's transitioning.
Yeah.
She could be transitioning. And then Augie T is already in there as well. So you're around good company if you get elected in. So.
Oh yeah, and I look at Heidi's, everybody knows Heidi from when she stood up for the people during COVID. And like I said at one of our candidate town halls, my job is to take Tommy Waters' seat, but fill Heidi's role, because she was there for the people. She wasn't just, following the narrative.
Yeah.
She was listening to the people. She was out there talking to the people. I remember when she came out to the Honolulu Hale, and she stood in front of people and talked to the people. So that says a lot. But
yeah, I have a lot of respect for Heidi. She's smart, first of all, and she's very personable with all the people around here. So yeah, shout outs to Heidi Sumiyoshi. Yeah,
go get him, Heidi.
You get him. All right, so let's talk about the responsibilities of a council member. What are the responsibilities, first of all, and then what issues have you heard of in just District 4?
Oh, well, the responsibilities is, of course, we're city, so we deal with a lot of city issues. One of the things is, pretty much if you go to the neighborhood boards, you can hear what the issues are in different neighborhoods. So Hawaii Kai has their own issues. You know, we're dealing with, like I said, the overdevelopment in Kalama Valley.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with, homelessness. Of course, everyone is, and it's about, so my district goes from pretty much Makapu'u all the way to Ala Moana, the east side of Ala Moana.
Mm.
So there's a lot of issues. Diamond Head has this. One of their issues is, they have a road that's privately owned that they're trying to get back from the city.
Mm.
And, it's, if you listen, most of the issues arising is coming. There's no safe travel. What is it? It's pretty much giving safe routes for the kids to go to and from school.
Mm.
So even like where we live,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
even like where we live, our kids go to Hahione School, but we live by Kamiluiki Elementary, so we have to, pass that school.
Mm-hmm.
And you see people speeding, you see people swerving in and out of traffic right by the school during the school hours.
Mm.
And we talk, we ask the HPD, if they can come out there, but HPD is so short-staffed too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they go out there when they can, and of course, when they go out there, everyone changes their driving skills. And
Yeah.
they drive great. So, we need to look at other things to make sure all our kids are safe.
Mm-hmm.
Make it safe again. Of course, you got the homelessness.
Mhm.
I got friends who have businesses in Waikiki, and they've been there for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's getting worse. And, just listening to the people down there, especially the business owners, there's some solutions that, if I get in, we might look at.
Mm-hmm.
We might, and it's not too drastic. It's just, all right, let's do a trial period.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to make the changes right away.
Mm-hmm.
We just do it for a couple months and see if it works. If it works,
Mm-hmm.
all right, then maybe we'll implement, a little more into these programs, and then maybe get a program set up
Mm-hmm.
to where it works. It's not just we're kicking these people out.
Yeah.
We're not just moving them into another district.
Mm-hmm.
It's what can we do to figure out what kind of help they need, what kind of businesses that will want to be a part of it, because businesses are affected by it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hotels and all that. So, got to gather up all the people, come up with solutions, see who wants to be a part of it, see who can volunteer their time or, their services.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a process that, we're talking about and we're trying to figure out, but, without going into too much detail, there's plans that hopefully we can get.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get in, we can start making some moves.
Yeah, and I think like around Waikiki area, it's been a lot more violent over the past few years because of increased tourism or just rotten people coming there, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's become more unsafe. I believe like years before it used to be a lot safer, but I remember staying there during COVID, and then I was waiting for like a Uber Eats thing. And then one of the security guards, like, he thought I looked like a tourist. Well, I look the same actually. So, but I've been here my whole life.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but he was like, oh, it's not safe to be around here. 11:30 p. It was like 11:30 p.m. And I was like, huh, that's so weird because back in the day it wasn't like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it was okay to like walk around. Yeah, sure, it's still unsafe, but I mean, it was a lot better. It's not like a lot of crime was around there
Yeah.
too. So.
Yeah, there's some people who are doing good down there for, the less fortunate people down there, but it's also bringing more of the less fortunate people into the area, which is affecting everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be a balance, right? Everything needs to be not like a give and take, but we have to, instead of just moving them out, we need to have solutions. We need to have the answers before we move them out.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody says, like everybody in Hawaii Kai, they want to kick the homeless off the beach.
Mm.
Well, you do that, and then they're going to move into your backyard.
Yeah,
They want to close down the beaches. They want to lock the beaches at night.
Mm.
Or say, you lock the beaches from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then these guys can come back.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? Where do you think they're going to go? They're not going to go far
Mm-hmm.
because they know they can go somewhere, sleep, and then come back.
Right.
So, everyone thinks the easy answer is just kick them off the beach.
Mm.
But in reality, there needs to be some kind of system laid out to where when you move them from one place to another, you know where you're taking them, you know where the help is coming from.
Yeah.
And that's why we get together, we hooey up with, the other candidates who are running now for the first time too. Because we all have the same mindset. Yes, there is the actual pandemic is the homeless, not COVID. It's the homeless people that are, some have mental issues, some are just unfortunate, fell on unfortunate times, and some are just, they're comfortable with where they're at. So it's a balance of trying to be humane and trying to take care of, everybody else. So
Yeah, I agree with that because like saying restricting the homeless from going to the beach just for a little bit, they're gonna migrate somewhere else. It's like moving a problem to another area.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree. There needs to be a system in place to address those issues, which is a good balance to help out the community, but also to be there for the homeless that are there already. So
yeah,
and
and it's,
totally agree.
like I said, because if you go to Waikiki on the beach, that's DLNR. Once they go onto a hotel property, that's hotel security.
Yes.
And then once they go onto the streets, then it becomes HPD and city's issue. So there's always, boundaries of where law enforcement can enforce. And then once they do that, they go onto a hotel property. Well, that becomes hotel security. And then they go on the street. So that's why, we try to work together with the people we have now in our circle that are running for the first time. And that's why we're all on the same page. We're not just here to get everybody out and make one side happy. We're gonna balance. We're gonna try to make everything flow, so that there's no repercussions later on.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I want to talk about the Board of Education meeting. Actually, on May 19th, there was a big kind of a viral meeting where there was Keith Hayashi. He wasn't the permanent one yet, but he was the interim superintendent at the time, and then they had like a testimony area, or I guess testimony time for people to kind of say their piece, right? And then you actually you said more than your piece, but you were speaking for your wife actually at the time, and then you there was a scene where people said you're holding the mic, but they were trying to get you off the mic, but you wanted to say your own testimony too. So, what did you want to say during that, and what did you feel in that whole moment?
So my wife was texting me. She couldn't make it to do her testimony. She was driving, and she didn't want to do her testimony even virtual or remote while she was driving. So she asked me if I could say it, and she sent it to me in a text. So I started reading it, and of course, the bell went off.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, that's as far as I could get. But when they called our names, they said, they mentioned her name, and they said she's going to testify remote. And then after that, they said my name. So I was like, all right, perfect. I don't have to go up, sit down, and come back up. Well, when I did her testimony, and I stated this is my wife's testimony when I'm testifying, for my wife. On
behalf of her, yeah.
And so I did. And, my wife, she does studies. She looks stuff up. And so I read her testimony. The bell went off. And then I said, okay, my turn. And Catherine Payne was like, no, your time's up. And I said, no, you didn't hear me. In the beginning, I said, this is on behalf of my wife. Now it's my turn. And they're like, no, you're done. And I was like, no, I'm not. And it was just, that was the second BOE meeting, actually, that I went to. And, it was just, I was just there to, voice my opinion that Keith Hayashi at the first meeting, he didn't even want to say hi to my daughter. Because he was sitting in the front row and we walked up. And then I turned around and he was sitting in the front row. So I was like, oh, you're Keith Hayashi? And he said, yeah. Oh, he didn't even say yeah. He just nodded his head.
Okay.
And I said, oh, meet my daughter, Ava. She's 9 years old. And he, he just gave a little wave like that. And I said, or you could stand up, shake her hand.
Yeah.
You should talk to her because you're the one suffocating her. You're the one making her wear a mask in school. And he said, no. And I said, you should you should really get up and show some respect.
Mm.
And he didn't. And then security came, pulled him into the back of the boardroom.
Mm.
So at that point, that's when I went back to the second meeting on May 19th. And, I was just, you can't have people who will not stand up and be supportive of their own decisions.
Mm.
If you knew you made the right decision, you wouldn't be silenced by a 9-year-old.
Mm.
Yeah, you should be able to stand behind your own decisions
Mhm.
and stand firm and, address the public, address the people when they address you. So, and that's pretty much part of the other, that was the other reason why I joined too, is when I went to the board meetings, there was board members who legit turned their backs to us.
Mm.
And I had to
Wow.
say, I forget his name, but I was like, you need to turn your chair around because I'm not talking to the back of your head.
Mhm.
The lack of respect for the people from all the agencies, it's crazy. So we
Mm.
need to bring the people. We need to give the power back to the people,
Yeah.
and that's where all this started from. Is from BOE meetings, from not getting, a simple phone call, probably a 2-minute phone call.
Mm.
Then I wouldn't be in this position.
Mhm.
But I woke up and something said, hey, no one's giving us
The respect.
the respect,
Yeah.
and especially the respect for the keiki. So that's when it's time, we're gonna shake the tree and we're gonna make some noise.
Hmm.
But
The fact that Hayashi didn't even approach your kids in a respectful way. I mean that's pretty crazy. I would run for government, if I was in that position.
yeah, and that's what set me off. Is at the first BOE meeting I went to, that's when I asked him to show my daughter some respect, and she just stood there. And then that's the one where I grabbed my 3 kids and put them around the podium,
Mhm.
and I asked the board of education, hey, do you know the names of my kids?
Mm.
And there was no
They didn't say
interaction.
anything. Oh.
And so I said, do you guys know their health history? Same thing. And I said, you guys can nod, you guys can, acknowledge something.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I know their names. I know their health history because I'm their dad.
Mm.
I was like, I make the best decisions for my kids, not you guys. And, it was silence. And then at the May 19th meeting, I asked everyone, who had kids in the school system.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to the board, I was talking to the sheriffs, and I was talking to everyone in that room. And of course, the sheriff said, they can't participate because they have the uniform on, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a few board members who raised their hands, and Catherine Payne came on and said, "Don't raise your hand. Don't interact with the testifiers."
Oh.
And I was like, "Why?" It's just a simple question.
Yeah.
Do you have kids in the school system? And I said, and there was 3 of them, and then pretty much, majority of the room behind us raised their hands. And I said, you see, look at the numbers. We have more people out here behind me with kids in the system than the 3 people who raised their hands on the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
So the people should be electing who's going to be the superintendent of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're invested more than the BOE, and that's the problem is there's a lot of power that's been taken from the people, and the people are not being heard.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, man. Yeah, I applaud you for standing up, dude. Standing up for, not just your kids, but the parents that were there as well. Or the people that were there just as mad as you were.
Yeah.
That's such a hard scene to look at. You know what I mean? Because these guys have agendas. Already,
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then they're there. They're there opening up, for testimonies just for like formalities. You know what I mean? It's not even like they were gonna listen. So the fact that you gave them something to listen to, you know what I mean? They had to address it, even if they didn't want to, right?
Yeah.
I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That means a lot. And after those meetings, a lot of support came from those meetings that, also drove me to do it. And then, after that first meeting, actually the first person who told me I need to be running for office is Mr. Junior Tupai.
Oh,
The lieutenant governor candidate.
right on.
First time I met him was outside the BOE. He shook my hand and he said, "What are you running for?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not running." He's like, "You need to be." And I don't think he even heard my speech yet. And I was like, wow, that resonates
powerful,
with
yeah.
me. So I was like, that and everything lining up. And even throughout this process, the people who came into our life through this journey, like you guys, meeting you guys at the
Yeah.
fair, it's been a blessing. And like somebody told me, he messaged me and he said, you know what? When he was running, the best thing that came out of his journey was that he made 1,000 new friends. And, that resonated with me. Win or lose, I'm going to walk out here with my integrity and I'm going to have, friends and connections that, we can all help each other out. So it's a fun but exhausting journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is your first time running, right?
First time running. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a big learning curve, with that, with sign waving, filling out the paperwork. I mean, how has that been for you?
So, and that's the part where, I have a few people who say, hey, I want to be on your campaign team. I can help. Let me know how I can help. And for me, it's, I'm learning. I need to learn what the process is, before I can say, yeah, jump on my team. It's like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be the coach, I need to know what I'm doing as a coach before I can have players on my team. So, to me, I'm like, so grateful for the people who want to come in and help. But for me, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to stress them out. And they say, oh, you're supposed to be doing this at this time. And I said, I don't know. I have no idea. So, I can go home at night after the long day. I can research stuff. And then I can do stuff here and there. So, I'm thankful for all the people, who want to help. Nothing personal. It's just like when I got to educate myself on stuff, I kind of just, take my time and,
really research it.
Yeah. And, it's less pressure. And, if whether win or lose, and if we decide to do this again in 4 years, then at least I'll have time because, like I said, I think I pulled my papers in April or May. And so it was a quick decision, quick filing, quick learning. So, but we're getting it.
Yeah,
It's a fun process.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I respect that too because like what I tell people is, for politicians, I mean, there's guys that are lawyers or doctors and stuff like that, and they already know the law, but that's not a good thing because they could either be pulling the law for people's favor or their own favor, right? And then if they're so they may have the smarts, they may have the research already done to already figure out things, but what if they don't have the heart? You know what I mean? And then for guys like you who have the heart, you can be taught the logistics for laws and understand the process and everything. So that's the part that can be teachable. You can't teach people character.
No, yeah.
So,
and I like to talk with people face to face. I don't like to be, behind cameras because you don't get to hear.
behind cameras.
Yeah. But this is
Still
legit.
face to face.
But yeah, like because you don't get to hear people's, they send an email. You don't get to feel their mana behind what they're asking. You just read it, how you take it.
Yeah.
And there's no feeling behind it. But if you go in front of the person or the people and you hear the passion behind what they're saying, it changes the whole narrative and it makes you want to fight more. So it's just like when we're at the BOE, even when I went up there and just said one little thing and people, applauded and, cheered us on. And I'm like, oh, that got me hyped, and that's what.
The energy, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we lost. We lost the face-to-face. We lost the interpersonal, interactions. So we need to bring that back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree to that, man. So let's talk about the Hawaii Kai neighborhood board because you said you're part of it for about a year now. What are some of the bigger topics covered in those boards? Like I kind of read there was like air conditioning in East Oahu schools. There's also you guys talked about the fuel storage. tanks at Red Hill. So like, what's some of the big topics in that?
So when I first jumped on, some of the big topics was Hanama Bay.
Mm.
You know, the overuse from the tourists, and you know they came up with a new system of you have to go online and reserve your spot. Well,
Wow, I
with
didn't know
local,
that.
yeah, with the locals around the area, if they wanted to go, well, of course, you know these people coming in, these tourists coming in, you know they know they're coming here, they know they want to get in, they're gonna reserve their spots ahead of time. So you know us, we're like, yeah, we'll go tomorrow, and then you jump on the reservation
Website or
system,
whatever.
and it's all booked up.
Yeah. Oh my.
So a lot of issues was about saving space for locals, or even times where it's just locals or kupunas, And then there's other issues with Coco Crater stables. That's been a huge issue. It's this horse stables that's up behind Coco Head in Kalama Valley, and there's been kind of like a bidding war going on and non-transparency of stuff going on. So it's one of those where we need to figure out, like you said, how people are getting through loopholes.
Yeah.
Because
like for Hanama Bay, you could probably. I'm just shooting from the hip here, but you probably could just maybe have certain amount of reservations, like maybe like I'd say like 25 or something, right? And then like not actually tell the public like, oh, there's actually like 50 reservations that could be there, but 25, and then like families that have Hawaii state IDs can just go right in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so it's been a huge issue, when I first got on. So they were trying to figure all that out. And to me, I'm like, what do you guys? Because me, I don't like. My wife wants to go to Hanama Bay, and I'm like, I don't know if I can sit in front of the screen and just go over there and dive, go or snorkel, somewhere where I can't go diving. I was like, I'd rather go to an aquarium.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. It's still beautiful down there, and the water is calm for families and stuff. So I get it. But yeah, it was a big issue. Like our meetings would go from 7 p.m. to like 10:30 p.m.
Oh wow!
And we'll talk about
very long meetings.
Yeah, we'll talk about Coco Crater stables. We'll talk about Hanama Bay. We'll talk about chickens. The furrow chickens. And yeah, it's been a learning process. Listening to the neighborhood boards, and now I'm jumping on the other boards. Tonight I have to jump on Kulio'o's neighborhood board because they have an issue with furrow pigs, and it's crazy. And a lot of people are for that hug stop. And we're like, we have hunters, we have people who love to go up there, get these pigs, feed their families. It's been a good learning process, and listening to now I'm jumping on to the other boards and listening to their issues, and it's like, oh wow. Kulio'o's right next door to us, and I didn't even know. So, just listening on there. And for me, I'm going to try and be present myself more than, sometimes I might have to use a representative, if I get in.
Yeah.
For the most part, I want to be present. I want to be the ones, I want to be the one. Yeah, being there and, let the people approach me.
Definitely. So, I want to get into some of the topics actually from your website.
Okay.
You have quite a bit of topics here. So, one of the ones is local business. You're supporting local businesses. What are the current problems that local businesses face here in Hawaii?
So we already know how the economy crashed during COVID, and there's some local businesses where they made it through, but what people
Still
don't
struggling.
what people don't know is the reason why they made it through is because they had to go out there and they had to find other investors. Because the system that the state of Hawaii or the federal government put into place didn't help. It barely even, put a scratch into their, and so some of them had to take out money from their own, savings and retirement and use that just to stay afloat. And so when I hear these politicians now saying, "Oh, we came up with this, what was it?
PPP loan or whatever."
Yeah, the PPP loan. That's one, and then the other one, where there's the restaurant cards and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like if you actually go and talk to restaurant owners, or not even just restaurant owners, it's auto shops, it's, you know, these small little mom and pop stores. That PPP loan didn't help anything because if you're honest on that form, you got what you got. While other businesses, bigger businesses, you know, they kind of, from what I heard, you know, they fudge the numbers and they got a lot more help. So, and that's where, you know, integrity is a big thing. But you know, these local businesses, you know, it's all the small, like Instagram,
Mom and
you
pop
know.
stars, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Instagram, the small startup stores like you got Everyday Better. We wore, you know, brother Eric. And, you know, he's
Shout
just
out to
a
Eric.
positive. Yeah, shout out to Eric. You know, it's just a positive guy. And you listen, and you listen to his story, it's amazing, right? And then you got Swift, you know, Steadfast Warriors, incorporating faith. I had it. But it's a local company who, you know, they're warriors, but they're faith-based warriors, you know, so... And it's cool. And then you got right there, culture H&M.
Honolulu, yeah.
So it's a small little brand that this female started, and her dad actually owns an auto shop in Kalama Valley.
Oh, okay.
And so I talked to him and, you know, said, hey, you know, I'm running for council. And he said, oh, you said you're going to support small business, and he showed me this. And actually, the whole reason they made this shirt is because no matter what your culture is, you know, you wear the shirt how you want to wear it. Because I asked, I said, you know, you see my BOE meetings, and I don't know if you've seen the Red Hill meeting.
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah, that's another good one. But I like to ask, you know, how do you want me to represent your brand? Because I don't want to wear your brand, and then I go to a, you know, town hall, and then I misrepresent their brand. So I make sure, you know, when I want to wear their stuff, or when they ask me, or when I ask them if I can wear their stuff, you know, I want to represent their brand for what it stands for. And culture is, you know, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, if you're, you know, into, you know,
Like colored or
or, you know, you into different kind of things. You wear the shirt because you want to wear the shirt because that's how you see yourself and your culture. So I thought that was pretty cool. And but that was when he gave me the shirt, you know, my chicken skin just, I was like, dude, this is my first stop, and this is already the kind of response I'm getting. It makes me want to go harder and, you know, work harder.
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah, supporting local business, I mean, got to get out there. You got to talk to them. Because what you guys see, just because their doors are open now doesn't mean they're not struggling. You know, so sometimes, you know, I know it's a habit. We'll go over there and ask for Kampai and a discount, military discount. Maybe we got to take a pause on that, you know, for like the next year, because, you know, these businesses, even though they're still open, they're barely, you know, making it. But, you know, that's just my own personal, you know, like I said, I like to talk to people face to face. So.
I think I read a study recently about Hawaii having maybe being the lowest tax benefits, or the lowest return out of all the other states.
Really?
For taxes, yeah.
That's like the thing, you know. I think we went. Oh, when we were at the fair, they asked what is the most dangerous thing in Hawaii, and to me, I think it's the politicians, because, you know, they're quick to take from your pocket to fill their pocket, and when your pocket's empty, they're gonna go to the other pocket, and when that pocket's empty, you know, and it's crazy how much taxes on taxes that they want to charge. You know, if you look at your hotel receipt, look at your rental car receipt, there's like 4 or 5 different taxes, and it doesn't matter if you're from here or if you're visiting, everything's getting taxed multiple times. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I like to talk about experiences that I lived through, and, you know, my wife likes to do the, you know, research, all this kind of other stuff, and, which is great too, because she tells me, and I'm like, okay, and I take it with a grain of salt, and I take bits and pieces from her, but for me, I like to talk about experiences that I lived through, that I know that other people lived through. That way we can, when I talk about it, I have proof. And if you guys want proof, I'll bring them up. And they can talk to you, and I'll let them talk.
Yeah, definitely. So another topic you have on your website, you talk about keeping Hawaii or making Hawaii safe a place again. We touched upon that with Waikiki homelessness problems, and one of the things you talked about with like stricter zones for kids being able to play safely or just walk around safely. How do you plan to accomplish that plan?
So I actually drove around with Senator Chris Lee in Hawaii Kai, Kalama Valley, and showed him, the areas that I see kids traveling up and down the road to go to school. And like I said, the speeding is crazy. There's a lot of areas where people don't like speed humps or speed bumps, but there's also crosswalks around every school. So there's, within a certain radius, we can make raised crosswalks where because people like to park on the crosswalks too.
Yeah.
So they like to block the crosswalk just so they can go get their kid, and they like to park, 2 feet. If they're not in the crosswalk, they're about 2 feet from the crosswalk, and you can't see kids from, around the corner from, especially when they're coming around turns. So yeah, we can have crossing guards, but, when these kids are, getting out of school after the crossing guard leaves, then what happens? So, raise crosswalks around the schools, and it's not just immediate vicinity. There's a couple busy intersections, maybe a few 100 yards down the road. And then also, the speeding, we need to put up some kind of program to where we can stop these guys from speeding. And when they speed, so Senator Chris Lee said, yeah, you can fine them, $50, whatever, to pay the fine. They'll go on and they'll speed again. But if you take out their free time from, and make them have to do community service on the weekends, that changes everything. And I agree. And I want to see that get into place, and I want to see, we just swore in a new police chief, right? And he talked about the 300 positions that are open. So it's not just patrolmen. He mentioned that it was, sergeants, it was lieutenants, higher ups. So how do you do that, right? Everyone moves up the board. So then you open up spots for patrolmen. Well, the one thing we want to make sure is they're not just hiring people to hire people to fill in the gaps. We want quality over quantity. We want people who, the 20-year-olds who are coming in getting a badge and a gun. We want to make sure they're the right person to carry the badge and the gun. It's like what we're doing with the Coast Guard now, or all military branches. They're kicking out the people who have the experiences, the elites of the military, the Navy SEALs, the paratroopers, the Rangers, the Coast Guard rescue swimmers, because of the vaccine. And what are they doing? They're saying you don't need a GED to get into the Coast Guard. We'll give you extra money to come to the Coast Guard while we're kicking out all these elite people. And so that's what we need to make sure is that when we fill these 300 extra positions, we're filling out that position with the right qualified people. So I'll be honest, myself and one of my great friends, we applied for HPD. And we did the physical, we did the written test, and then when it came to a clarification interview, we were honest and we gave them everything. And then they said, oh, you're not qualified at this time. And, in my 20 years of Coast Guard service, it's not all cakes and butterflies. How I was at the BOE and the Red Hill, that's how I am. I always stand up for my people. And, I still have people who work for me that, they still reach out to me, ask me, questions or advice on some stuff. And that was my goal. That was my goal is, always remember where I came from. I didn't join the Coast Guard and I was up here. I had to work my way up. And even when you're up here, there's still people when you go to a new job, there's still people who works for you who knows a lot about that unit. So that's why it's important to listen to everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really important is like I was talking about earlier about character. You know what I mean? Like you can teach even like new policemen. I mean, filling up those 300 positions, you got to find people that are good in character as well. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like not just people that you give a young 20-year-old a badge and a gun who may be physically fit, but they could be a rotten person.
Yeah.
And do some terrible things, especially because now they have the law on the side. So finding qualified people that not just maybe understand the respect level and everything, but you know are teachable as well. You know, people that want to learn more and really want to do a good job. You know, so
Yeah.
part of integrity as well.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, you know, that's just the PD side too. But if you look at the fire, you know, a lot of firefighters are retiring. A lot of firefighters are retiring because, you know, the city's cutting their retirement. So you got a lot of elite firefighters who want to keep working, but, you know, because they're taking away their pension or part of their pension, you know, why stay in a system where, you know, you sacrifice over 20 years and now they want to cut your pension. But yet these other guys are the guys who are cutting your pension, they're getting raises. You know, so that's where, you know, when we come in, you know, you can ask me how much a council member gets paid. I can tell you right now, I don't know, because I'm not in it for the money. You know what I mean? I mean it because the future is in jeopardy. If you think about it, for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I want to go on to the next topic. Actually, I want to talk about the Hawaii economy right now, because right now we're kind of looking towards a recession. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but I guess people say it's gonna happen. And then for Hawaii, we're kind of big on tourism here. What's something that will make Hawaii more affordable? You know, and then kind of building off that tourism topic, is there other ways that we can diversify the economy besides tourism?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to say it, right? We need to be more sustainable for ourselves. And there's a lot of politicians and developers out there that want to, you know, build. They want to build 67,000 homes along the rail, which we already know that's failing, right?
Yeah.
But they want to build 67,000, you know, they calling it affordable homes.
That's a lot. I never knew that.
Yeah. And it's actually more, I think it's like 67.5. But,
Jeez.
you know, and they want to build 1,000 units per acre.
Oh, okay.
So that means they're going to go up, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, that's one of the things is, you know, instead of using that to build homes, overpriced apartments, you know, we can there's a lot of farmers out here, and we can utilize their skills. We can give them, you know, breaks. We can give them support to support the people. You know, it's a circle, right? You support the farmers support everybody else. We don't have to depend on, you know, all these other outside entities, you know, like Costco or, I mean, nothing wrong with Costco. I like Costco, but, you know, if something was to happen, we already seen how fast everything flies off the shelves. And there's no system in place for us to be sustainable. And that's, you know, where the money hungry people come in, you know, especially these outside developers, right? I got friends that were looking to buy a house and they were offering full price. And these outside developers would come in and offer, you know, 20 to 40,000 above asking cash.
Oh.
And when they come in, you know, 2 months later, 3 months later, the house is vacant. And no one's sitting there. And I talked to a mortgage lender in at the swap meet in Kakako. And she almost teared up because she said, that's exactly what's going on. She was like, the feeling of telling someone they're qualified for this amount of money, and they go out and they offer everything that they have, you know, offer full price, knowing that they're going to be, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, just to get denied because this outside developer came in offered all this money, and all they're gonna do is sit on the house and wait until the housing market goes up, and then they're gonna sell. You know, I don't know if you read this. There was a house that went for like 700,000. 2 months later, it was up for 1.3.
Oh, geez.
So, you know, and that's that kind of stuff, right? We need, and you know, no fault to the sellers. I get it. Money talks, right? You give cash, you're gonna take cash, but there needs to be some kind of incentive for the sellers to keep it local, or there needs to be laws and regulations against these outside investors. Like, you can't just buy, sit on it, wait for the housing market to go up, and then sell, you know, for double. Because, I mean, the housing prices are crazy, and there's no way people can afford to, you know, pay their school lunches for the kids, pay for daycare, and then pay for, you know, lunches for their kids that go to daycare, and everything just piles up. And, you know, the taxes, you know, taxes go up every year. But talking to, you know, one of our neighbors, our friends, you know, he had a good plan. He said, you know, the city won't lose money because that's what it's about, right? They don't want to lose money. But you're also helping the people. And, you know, if we get in, you know, it'll be something that we'll try and push for. It actually makes a lot of sense, what he came up with. You know, and like I said, these ideas is not 100% mine. These ideas is from listening to the people, even other, you know, politicians like Chris Lee. You know, they have good plans. So what are we doing? Why are we not, you know, incorporating these plans? And, you know,
Yeah.
so that's me. I like to talk to the people, use their ideas, because in reality, it's their neighborhood, it's their streets, it's their kids, you know. I mean, yeah, you know, I'll fight for my kids too, but we have different areas and stuff, so.
Yeah, different issues.
Yeah, so
each area.
so every area has their own, you know, problems that they need help with, and it's listening to the people that are living through it that'll make it, you know, better. And, you know, if we can do that, if we can, you know, fix the taxes issue and the sustainability and, you know, regulating the outside investors coming in and just buying out property, you know, then I think we can make a big hit on, you know, Hawaii's overpriced everything.
Yeah, economy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at even car registrations. You know, you live in Oregon, you pay, I think, $120, but that's for 2 years for your car registration.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
and over here, you know, we're just getting priced out. You know, we have 2 big vehicles, you know, because we live in the mainland and we got a big family, so we needed big cars. So, yeah, when
Because
time
of the
comes,
weight.
because of the weight, you
Yeah.
know, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like with the housing development here, I think there was a study done recently about the median price, which was, I think, $1 million, or maybe a little bit more than 1 million, which is pretty crazy. And then, like, I don't know if people know this, but I used to work in government. Well, UH is part of government, so I used to work for UH, and there was a thing with people that worked in government. They got a 2% raise every 6 months. And then for me, it was like, you know, it was nice that I got the raise, but at the same time, it's like, what, at the expense of who? You know,
Yeah.
the people. So that's why there's, you know, jacked up prices in Hawaii, and then that's why Hawaii is becoming less affordable, because, you know, where's that money going? You know, and then how about for the rest of the people? Is it fair for the rest of the people too?
Right.
So
Yeah, and that's the thing with politics, right? You have to pay attention to the little key words. You know, you're gonna hear affordable homes, but is it really a affordable home or overpriced apartment, right? And then you listen to them say, "Oh, we built these homes, townhomes, on the west side for, you know, and affordable homes." But what does that do, right? Talking to other people who are in our hui, the other candidate who, you know, did their research and they got friends in certain places, and they said, well, yeah, these homes can be affordable because the city will say, if you build these homes, we can call it affordable. When we do this next, when you want to do your next project, we'll push your permit through,
Mm.
and then you can jack up the price on this unit, on this complex.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna use this as our, affordable home platform.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll help you out on the back end.
Mm.
We know you're gonna lose some money on this project. We'll help you out. We'll push your permit through, and you can raise the prices on these.
Mm.
So there's always, so what you hear is not always what you get.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, and that's where the transparency comes in. I hear, like I said, the 67,000 homes on the west side. It's not affordable homes.
Mm-hmm.
To me, a home is somewhere where someone can plant their roots, and then when they move on, the next generation in their family can take it over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you keep the Hawaiians or the local people in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just say, here's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Well, we all know what happens. We all know what happens years after.
Mm-hmm.
Family gets bigger, and by the time you try to find a house, the prices are already skyrocketed.
Right.
So nothing changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's the thing about like affordable homes. I had this I posted this thing the other day. I was a little fired up, but the thing is like when they say affordable homes, it's like who's it affordable to? Yes, of course, it's affordable to the investors, right?
mm-hmm.
But if the point of affordable homes was to support local people, then I think only locals should be allowed to purchase affordable homes rather than investors buying 5 or 6 units and then jacking up the price 200,000-300,000 more than what it was originally at. So it's only affordable to them where they can make it unaffordable to us, the rest of us.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, and then there's always that fine line where it sounds good, but
Mhm.
there's always some kind of
Stipulation.
fine
Yeah.
print that they don't talk about. So
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, the housing situation, that's one of the biggest topics here, and then that's something that my wife and I were trying to figure out if we can like make Hawaii, still home, because we've lived here our whole lives, but the thing is, things becoming more expensive, and then can jobs be kind of keep up with that? You
Yep.
know what I mean? Because at that point, businesses are kind of being stretched too far, to be able to be like, I don't know if we can keep up with the housing situations or even the cost of living or even doing business in Hawaii. So,
yeah, and,
big topic.
you brought that up, like the school system, right? Last year
Mhm.
they were giving out free lunches
Mhm.
for everybody, right?
Mm.
Cool. But if you look at the quality of the food, like my daughters will come home and be like, I'm so hungry, we didn't get enough to eat.
Oh.
Or there was like not enough nutrients in the, and my wife is a big proponent of you got to have each,
Yeah, balance. Yeah.
a balanced meal every time. So
Mhm.
they know what a balanced meal is, and they're like, yeah, it wasn't something that we,
balanced.
yeah, something that we like when
Mhm.
we were growing up. They're like, oh, it's horrible.
Mhm.
So no offense to the workers, we know what you got to work with, what you're dealt with.
Mhm.
But imagine if we had local food from local farmers, people who put love and everything they have into their crops, and so
Yeah, we have a ton of chickens too. How
plenty
how-
chickens.
And we have a you go to farmers markets, tons of produce over there. You know what I mean? Why can't we invest in local farmers and local agriculture to really become more self-sustainable here in Hawaii? So,
Yeah.
and we used to be a big producer of like sugarcane and even pineapple as well. So, we can still kind of build off of local farmers as well
Yeah.
in our economy, but yeah, I feel like we don't do that. You know?
And that would have gone full circle, right?
Mhm.
And it's a revolving circle that we supporting each other. They support us, we support them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it's just crazy how we're not even there. Everyone talks about it, and there's nothing being done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, let's move on to the next topic here, which is about transparency in government, which has been a huge concern for a very long time. Not even just past couple of years, but just a very long time in general. If elected, what would you do differently to fix those transparency issues?
Oh, for me, it's easy. My integrity means and my name.
Mm.
It's not just my name. It's my family's name. It's, my kids go to school. I want people to go out to them and be like, you know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I know your dad. My dad knows your dad. My mom knows your dad, and we love him because he's for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about, right? You come and ask me a question, hey, I'll tell you the answer. It might not be the answer you want,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it might hurt your feelings, but at least you know that there's you don't you
That you
you
got
go to
something.
you go to sleep at night knowing that you don't have to wake up second guessing everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the world needs right now
Mm-hmm.
is integrity in the system, because everyone wakes up. For us, it's a battle. We got a battle for the air we breathe. We got a battle for the water we drink. We got a battle for the land that should be, set for us, of the people of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So transparency to me means, my word is as good as gold. Because when we go out in the community, when we go to Costco, I don't want to be like these other politicians who need bodyguards.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the one who people come up and shake our hand.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if we go to a restaurant, they'll come and stop and talk story, or just say, hey, thanks for doing what you're doing. We really appreciate it. And that means more to me than, trying to get some backdoor deal from, corporations and that's why I didn't go out and get endorsements.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people said, hey, you should go talk to so-and-so and get some endorsements. And to me, I want to do it my way. I want to do it with, no questioning. Because, look at everything's going on right now. A lot of people got endorsements from certain people, and now it's, now it backfires on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do it. I want to be righteous for my family, for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always want to be available. So, like, there's, people who email me of, like, please just call me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, let's meet somewhere and talk story. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to take your email the wrong way. I don't want you to take my email the wrong way. But I also want to make sure that we make eye contact when we, talk story and when we
Communicate.
communicate. Because I want to feel your passion. And I want you to feel my passion when I talk too.
Mm-hmm.
So that way there's, mutual respect or mutual understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I think like with Hawaii, it's so unique because we're a bunch of different islands, first of all. But everything's so close knit here versus you go to California. I think, going California, you probably could run in a new person every day, bro.
Yeah.
But like here, you can see the same people over and over again. You know what I mean? So, I think like transparency here is so important just because of that, the community here, and then, everybody in Hawaii is just, oh, you're my cousin's cousin or you're my uncle's nephew. You know what I mean? Like, I know this person. So everybody's connected somehow.
Yeah.
And I think like that transparency needs to be brought back here in Hawaii just because we need it. You know what I mean? And that's the only way we can really start resolving some of these issues too. When we're all connected and we all understand each other. Even if it's not something we want to hear, or but it's there's some respect there at least. You know what I mean?
and that's what, like you said, we're a small tight knit group,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to be for the people, and that's what we lost. And so we need to bring more positive energy back into this.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, a couple questions here. So what makes you the right candidate to be the council member for District 4?
Hey, you know what? I already, like I tell people, I'm not a politician. When me and my neighbors are having beers, we laugh about it, and I say, I'm not a politician. You guys know me. I'm not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the best asset for the people. I will listen to the people. I talk to the people. I'm engaged with the community.
Mm-hmm.
We play softball, adult league, so we know what that happened. What happens there. And then we also coach. My kids play soccer. They play. They want to play volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
We play rugby. My kids play rugby, and
Tough sport.
yeah. And even I had to learn the game, but then I started helping out, and it is that kind of stuff to where I don't want to be behind a desk Monday through Friday, with my nice aloha shirt, with my, slick pants, slick shoes.
Yeah.
You know, and there's gonna be some days where I'm be like, hey, let's get out of the office. Let's go have an outside day. Let's go talk to the community. Let's just walk the streets, talk to the people. You know, knock on doors. That'll be a work day. You know, and then we'll come back the next day and we'll sit down and talk stories, see what we came up with, what is the needs of the people. You know, 4 years goes by fast, but if we can touch, you know, the right people and as many people as we can, face to face, and, you know, just listen, talk story, even if it's just, you know, 2 hour work day, if it's 20 people that we knock on their doors and we just, you know, put a voice to the name. Oh, I bet you we can hear everything grassroots style.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned a lot of stuff, is not texting, you know, people or going to businesses and talking to them and just learning what they had to go through. Oh, it's crazy. You know, like I said, Eric from Everyday Better, he came out one morning, sine wave with me at 5 a.m. And we just talked, and time flew by. But we have an understanding of, and I think it made us closer. You know, and, you know, just talking with the people. And so, you know, being the right candidate, I think me being more of a personable kind of person and a fighter, you know, a warrior, you know, I think I'll make some waves. And, you know, it'll probably be the worst 4 years for certain people that are, you know, in certain positions right now. But it'll probably be eye-opening 4 years for everybody else. Because we don't have to be puppets. There's changes that we can make as a community, as a group, as a neighborhood, as an island. And that's where, you know, what we need to bring back is the power of the people. So I think that's what makes me the best for this position.
Yeah, and I think for with like culture, I mean the thing about, like, you're wearing culture, I think building that culture is one of the most important things. You know what I mean? For, like, you know, with you know, there's so many new candidates going into that are running this year, and whether or not people get elected or they don't get elected, I think the important part is, like, even if all the plans that people kind of set forth don't come to fruition in maybe like 4 years or 2 years, the part that's important is developing that culture. You know what I mean? With transparency through the people, or, you know, understanding the issues and really addressing them. I think that's the important part, because, you know, with politicians, you know, there's a term limit. You know what I mean? So building that understanding of, like, this guy's coming in, oh, he represented, you know, integrity, he represented respect. You know, I want to bring that same kind of mentality when I run for governor, you know, or when I want to take that guy's place or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think, like, the politics today is just, it's a culture of, okay, let's just throw stuff out there and then they'll bite, but then we'll do stuff behind doors. You know what I mean? But, like, that's not what government's about. You know what I mean? It's about the people electing others that are the right candidate, but the people that are that represent their views and morals. You know, I mean, like, it's so important these days to, like, just vote for the right people in government. You know, and that's why I respect what you're doing, man. I think it's so transparent. It's so good for the community, because you know, we need people like that. We need good representation like that, respect. We need to bring back integrity back to the government, and we need to bring that, like, that view, you know, because people are so negative towards the government right now. But being able to have the government come down to the level of where the people are at, and having the people level themselves up to where they can meet the politicians, then that's where there's a good sweet spot where, you know, things will be done, you know, issues can be resolved, you know, and then there's a connection there. So that's why I respect what you're doing, and I wish you the best of luck, dude. I mean,
no, I appreciate that, and that means a lot. You know, when I get those messages saying, you know, and, you know, people telling me, hey, I like what you're doing, I respect, you know, the way you handle stuff, and that means a lot to me. You know, it's just people coming up to me, like when we were at the fair, as we were walking in, You know, I was wearing the Everyday Better shirt, not, you know, Vote Nakoa shirt. And somebody pulled me aside and was like, bro, you got my vote. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? How do you know? And I was like, he's like, bro, I follow you on IG and I see what you're doing. And, you know, he lives in Hawaii Kai and that's the kind of stuff, you know, and, you know, being able to share space with, you know, you, I see your podcast and the people you talk to, man, is humbling to be a part of this journey and meeting, you know, like I said, that one person messaged me and, you know, I'll tell you on the side who it was because I don't know if.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, you know, he messaged me and it wasn't like a text. It was a voice message, you know, and he left it in my inbox and he was like, bro, the best thing about this journey is the people you meet. And there's a lot of more righteous people in the world than you think. So, you know, you make 1,000 more friends throughout this journey. So.
And even in Hawaii, I mean, I feel like it's even quantified. It's like 10,000 more friends, you know what I mean? At some point.
My kids got like 1,000 more aunties and uncles and cousins now, so they'll be good wherever they go. But yeah, and you know, that's why we do it, is for, you know, not to just prepare a keiki for the future, but prepare the future for a keiki so we leave them a legacy and we don't leave them trash. You know, we want to make sure when we leave, the water for them is good to drink. The aina is nourished for them to grow their stuff. You know, my 17-year-old, he works for Mahi Pono, the biggest farming company in Hawaii on Maui. He's learning how to farm. Now he's learning how to weld. So in my mind, this is going to be self-sustainable by the time he's 25. You know, he's going to learn how to grow his own crops. He's going to learn how to fix his own machines or build his own. And that's, you know, no credit to me. You know, that's probably his mom's side. But, you know, that right there says a lot. You know, it can be done. You know, you just need to have the right people behind you. And, you know, I got it. I got a lot of support. So,
yeah, man. Kaleo, hey, once again, dude, thanks for coming on the show and talking story with me and talking story with my wife as well. You know, I mean, it's such a blessing to have you on. How can people get in touch with you? Through like social media or even your website?
Yeah, so we got the Instagram page, Nakoa for Counsel District 4 on Instagram. I'm trying to start up a Facebook page when I get some downtime.
Yeah.
But then we have a website, vote-nakoa.ueni.web. And, you know, you see a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of information. My cell phone number is 808-940-9632. Send me a text, call, we'll talk story. You know, I try to answer every message, every comment. It might be a day or two, but, you know, I'll definitely, you know, get around to, you know, reaching out to the people, talking story. And, I mean, if you guys see me around or, you know, put me aside, talk story, you know, my family, we're always out and about. We're a busy family. Now we're even busier.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, I appreciate you guys' time and thank you for taking all of us in. You know, me and my campaign crew.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank you guys. Managers. Yeah, thank you guys for, you know, dealing with us and your patience too.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Much
definitely.
Love.
All right, so all the people that watch this show regularly, they know what we do. So at the end, we always do a kampai. Kaleo, this is to you. This is to your family. This is to what you represent, integrity, respect, and what you're trying to bring back, you know, that kind of culture back to the politics or government or whatever. I mean, you're not a politician, but you're an asset for the people, and I really respect
100%.
that. So this is good luck to you, man, in whatever you do in the future. Kampai.
Kampai. Thank you. Appreciate you.